No pressure. Yeah, what am I, nigga? Fuck this niggas talking about, nigga. When they swing that way to the right, swing to the left, you heard? Damn, I ain't been broke in a minute. Don't get offended. So I put blow in a business. Fucking a hole in the kidney. Fucking the city. I do not dance or jiggy. Gun is shut, gun is spinning. I like it, I spin it. I just came right out of jeweler. Ice on my neck and my wrist and my fist. I ain't kidding. I was working at dinner. Came back and counted some millions. I ain't no bitch, that's a billion. Red, yellow, green. Look like my neck a chameleon. Okay, spin it. Damn, I ain't been broke in a minute. I hate this bitch, he offended. I'm a bitch, he offended. Then let me finish. I cut that Chevy for 40. My scam will bust some bottles out the OA. I cannot cut you fucking no rose. I'm just fucking treated like a throwaway. Damn, I ain't been broke in a minute. I'm at the mall out of business. I need a swap in the digit. Calling no care. He the 250 on big. It ain't no big. Raw play kicky. Fuck that little bitch made a bitty. She wanna leak it. She wanna fit it. Hey, fuck that bitch. My face wasn't in it. Damn, bitch, the scams all beat. Bands in my head, little grit. Hit another band on the gram. When I was coming, she feel like I'm rich and I hit. Homie, I'm a dance, I jig. Weed is so strong, I feel like I'm Papa out the spin. I cut the corner and big. Bitch, I'm a menace like Dennis. Don't tell me pussy, I need a percentage. If you can fuck me, this shit is expensive. Nordstrom back, spike my gift. Damn, I ain't been broke in a minute. I ain't been broke in a minute. Damn. I ain't been broke in a minute. Damn, I ain't been broke in a minute. Damn, I ain't been broke in a minute. Damn.
Good morning, good morning. You know what today is. It's Takeover Thursdays with your girl Rocky. Duty done plugged me in as usual. So, you know, Rocky Relax. We got to get it on Thursdays. And Rocky Relax is sponsored by Crystal Clear Marketing and Copaesthetic Designs. You know, they got all the gear. Get with it. This morning, we vibing. Duty, how you doing?
Yo, we in the building. I mean, I ain't gonna front. The moon rock was real good this morning. I woke up to just sweet love. You know what I'm saying?
It's not the best.
No, it's better than the best, man. I mean, you know, first off, giving honor to God and, you know what I'm saying, who's the head of my life. And I'm just so grateful and I have so much gratitude for the people that love me, including you. You know what I'm saying? But Lord, when somebody loves you, baby, whoa. I'm telling you, it just make you feel just a little different, man. So
you must have got your bald head rubbed this morning.
Nah, man, it's just, like I say, man, when I get to wake up in the morning, I get to look into my girl's eyes and know, you know what I'm saying, how much she loves me. It's a beautiful thing. And I'm just, you know, every day, you know, you wake up and you thank God first, and then you look over and you thank your woman just for being her. And then, you know, you can start your day right.
Yeah.
You know, and then I get to come and hang out with my best friend like I'm winning in life right now.
Hey, now.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we're winning right now, man. So what we relating to today?
I got a question for you. So you know, the news and all this stuff that's going on, it's hard to sort through everything. But
it's a whole lot to sort through.
It's a whole lot to sort through. Like, I don't even know what to believe anymore. But one thing that I was thinking about, this racism thing, and what people don't talk about is racism within your own races.
Okay. Talk about it. What do you think about that?
I mean, it's real. It happens. Whether we think it's you know, now that I think about it, people think that it's normal, like it's normalized. Little comments that are made or you know, things that are said, you know, it's normal. Being that I'm mixed, I feel like I get it from both sides.
So let me ask you this. So for me, you know, words are very important.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that you know, especially being Hawaiian.
Yes.
the culture is very strong and very dogmatic, very important to follow the way things have always been. And so race mixing is an American thing because most places in the world don't really get down like that because that's how you survive as a culture, as a race, is by not letting other people in. So to be frowned upon, like to be the seed of that is something that people like. It's like being a stepchild or being the one kid that got a different daddy than everybody else in the family. Right? Yeah. So you line it up a lot of different ways, but I feel what you're saying, the dynamic of it is so strong because it's the whole culture that feels like it's against you.
Yeah. And to get it on, I don't want to say both ends. Growing up in Hawaii was a little bit different. I've touched on this before. My grandma's Hawaiian and Chinese. My mom's mixed with Filipino, so she's that and Filipino. So it was a lot of aspects in my life I feel like they couldn't understand, or I didn't even understand. So I didn't have an explanation for certain things, or why I was being looked at differently, or why comments were made to me like, my hair is different, but my hair is mixed hair. Yeah. But on this side of the family, I don't even want to say it sometimes, but it's different. And so coming to an understanding of who I was, it was harder. Yeah. Being that it's certain comments were made, certain things are said, and
how is so let's be real about it. Okay. Talk is cheap. A lot of people, are sensitive to words, and we have to desensitize ourselves to that growing up, especially being kids, because as kids, everything that's said to us is so hurtful. Yes. And then we grow up and become hardened, and where words don't affect us so much. But I want to talk about more like the action, like how they treat you. Like what have you experienced being what they would call a mutt, or what they would call a mixed breed, or somebody that is not 100%. Like, how do they tell them about how they put you in a corner? Tell them about how they act towards you to give people a better understanding.
I get treated different. So like, say I meet somebody from Hawaii, and what I do for a living, I'm meeting different people from different places. And when I tell them that, or certain things that I have on, like I'll have my bracelet on, or the tattoo I have on my arm, they'll ask me as if to verify that I am.
They're checking your credentials.
Right. So where are you from? Oahu. Okay, what part? Kaneohe. Oh, okay. Yeah, you look different.
What does that mean?
Right, exactly. And like, big shout out to my mom, because she always told me if people don't understand that you're mixed, they don't look at you and see that, they're ignorant.
Well, here's the thing about it, right? There are a lot of dark Hawaiians.
There is.
You know what I'm saying? So, to write off, just say, if you're from the island, I can imagine that, you see your people, when you see them. Right. You know what I'm saying? But that being said, I've met people from all over the island, all over the world, that have different looks because we end up getting confused anyway. Right. But what makes somebody else the authority on your background?
Who knows? I know that. Hey, can we ask them? Somebody needs to answer me. Like one day I'm gonna just ask somebody that. Like, what makes you say this is okay?
Let me ask you this: why do you feel obligated to have to deal with it? Because you do deal with it.
I do deal with it. Because I think it comes with the territory. Like, I'm not gonna walk away from it. I'm not gonna run from it because I do have to deal with this. I have to deal with this on a daily basis. I have to. I have a younger sister, so of course I have to lead the way, because it's gonna be things that happen to her that nobody else is gonna understand. Yeah. Like, my mom wouldn't be able to walk her through that. Her dad might not be able to walk her through that. The only person that could understand that is me.
Well, that is powerful, because you said you didn't have nobody to help you. Yeah. How do you help your sister understand
her uniqueness? It makes you beautiful. Like, and it took me a while to come into it too, because again, the comments made on both sides, and it took me a while to fall into this. But the fact that your bloodline on both ends is royal, that's how I look at it. Okay. Come from kings and queens, like that's one of the first things I portrayed to her. And the fact that you are different, nobody else is gonna look like you. Man. Not saying that everybody looks alike, like everybody is unique, but the little parts of you make you extra special.
Well, looks do matter in culture, right?
Yes.
So what is the look from where you're from that you might be different from?
Okay, so like a lighter brown skin, the straight, long, maybe not even straight, just like wavy, but not the curls and the different texture, pretty eyes. It's skinny, slim. And when I thought about these things, I'm like, well, most of these girls are mixed with Asian or something too. Like, you're mixed too.
Well, that's why I wanted to ask that question.
Right.
So is it the fact that you're mixed or the fact that you mix with Black? Because I know that there are different types of blending that goes on purposefully for a lot of different reasons. But like you just said, you got an Asian mix over there, and are they getting the same treatment that you're getting on your side because of the type of mix you are?
I don't know. It's definitely because I'm mixed with chocolate.
Well,
not everybody can handle that. Chocolate might be too sweet for them. I'm just saying. But it's definitely because I'm mixed with chocolate. Like, I know my mom has told me stories in the past about the things that she went through making the decision that she made, but she wouldn't have it any other way. Yeah. And those are the type of people that make it easier to, I have a lot of cousins that I recently didn't know, like they prefer chocolate. I'm just saying. And hey, my cousins are beautiful.
Yeah.
But I didn't have them at the time to understand the things that were going on. Like, the first time I got called the N-word was in Hawaii. I was like in the 3rd grade. I had no idea what this meant. But I knew my feelings were hurt, like you said.
Yeah.
Like the way he said, I was like, I don't know what the hell that is. What is that? I'm a what?
I'm a what?
Right. I'm a what? And I explained it to my grandma. She's like, I just, but she couldn't walk me through that.
Man.
She couldn't walk me through it. I just knew my feelings were hurt. And then moving out here, when my friends introduced me to people, they're not like, oh, my mixed friend, or no, I'm just Hawaiian. Like, that's the part that they take out. Like, girl, I'm Black too. Like,
no, and that's what's so crazy to me. Like, for me, I'll make an analogy.
Okay.
So I'm from LA.
Right.
But I'm from Watts. So Watts is not a city, but it is a stamp of pride to be from Watts.
Oh yeah, my best friend, she's from Watts. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, we just are a different type of people.
Mm-hmm.
And so if somebody asks me where I'm from, first off, I'm going to think in LA cultural terms, like they're probably gangbanging on me.
Right.
But etiquette is, I'm going to tell them I'm from Watts first. I'm not going to say I'm from LA.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Because then they're going to ask where.
Exactly. Now, when I ask people where they're from, they tell me LA, I have to ask them where.
Right. What part?
What part?
Mm-hmm.
Because that is a determining factor.
Why?
Because where you're from specifically will determine your credibility. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you roll up on me and I tell you I'm from Watts, the area, not necessarily I'm some hardcore dude, but that if I grew up there, that I'm probably a different type of specimen.
Mm-hmm.
If you tell me you're from the Crenshaw district, you're a different type of specimen.
Right.
You're from Compton. But if you're telling me you're from LA, I'm gonna be like, probably from the Valley. Might be from Riverside.
Oh my gosh.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Ain't nothing wrong with Riverside. Ain't nothing wrong with, Moreno Valley and some of these areas, but why don't people recognize the difference? Now, like you said, take it back to the race. You got people that have all these different mixes, right? But people use what works for them in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So being Black ain't always popular in certain introductions, right?
That's true.
Or it doesn't take the priority in certain situations.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'll be honest, we ain't talking about just personal introductions. When you go put in a job application, you might not put down that you Black or mixed. You might put down that you just Hawaiian. I know a lot of people, like, I have multiple races in my family.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Irish. Now, in that family, you had multiple brothers who married Native and Black women.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them didn't even allow their wives and kids to carry their own name.
Why is that?
Why would you marry a Native or a Black woman and then not want to give them your name? Because that's social construct. Where you got some brothers like, no, my kid's gonna have my damn name.
Right.
And you got brothers in the same family that's like, nah, I don't want these niggas attached to me.
Damn.
That's a cold, you feel me?
Yeah.
So when you're talking about prejudice in your own family, you're talking about the separation, we can even break it down like in Black folks, we start treating people funny how they look based off their skin tone.
Right. Yeah.
My folks is, on my mother's side, is from Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? My grandmother could pass for a white woman.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my father was dark skinned from Mississippi area. So when he started coming around my family, my grandmother, she wasn't alive, but we started coming around my family, people were color struck. It's treated them different because it was dark skin. And this is all black folks,
Right.
right? You would consider, but we start categorizing ourselves and breaking ourselves down because it's a way to give ourselves power. Oh, you're not like us. But really, none of us are really the same. We're all individuals anyway.
Right.
But to point you out and say you're different when I'm different too than everybody else, like, come on, how do we come together when we're treating our kids like that? When we're treating people that don't have no power over the situation like that? And then look at you. Now you got to consider even how you introduce yourself. We're really just rocking.
Like you said earlier, it's that name thing. So my name is unique. Like it's spelled differently. And then I have a Samoan last name. So I got hired for a job just because of my name.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they were, looking sideways when I walked in, like, wait a minute, hold on.
Crazy.
This is who we hired.
Yeah.
But I was hired for my name. And when I got there, I realized that. Like, I'm looking around the whole room and I'm like, oh, everybody's Polynesian. So you looked at my resume.
So I was Polynesian, she got the job.
Exactly, instantly.
That's how the game goes. But see, that ends up becoming the trouble because people don't always have the scruples about who they're dealing with. Now, I might hire somebody just because they're black. Or somebody else might hire somebody just because they're white. That don't mean they're the most qualified. Right? Now, I've been through the situation myself where I've been the one looking for opportunities and I've been the one giving opportunities.
Right.
And we all fall into these situations in different ways. And just like you said, as a black man, there are people that believe that we should not name our kids what we want to name them because of things like that. Oh, how are you going to get a job, Shaniqua? And that type of racism, and that's real racism. Racism is the power to be able to control somebody's life based off of their background, based off of their beliefs, based off of what you think of them.
Yeah.
And how is that fair? But that's how the game goes, right? Because if I'm a black man and I want to hire all black people for my business, looking for all Shaniquas, all Tyrones, all the, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I have the power to do that.
Right.
So, but like you said, when you get caught up in one of those situations where your name fit and the face don't match with the name.
Right. Right. Like, hello, here I am. And you know what, you are right though. Like I don't want to say it's a benefit, but it does.
No, that is what we call privilege. Right. Now, as a black man, as a person named outlaw, as a felon, right? These are all different categories that, determine how people treat me.
Yeah.
And that don't got nothing to do with me. That's just my presentation. My name is Vernell Outlaw Jr. I was born Irish native black man, and I happen to have a felony. And all of that right there will disqualify me from standing in places with people who think less of me because of those things without even knowing.
That's true. But then at the same time, it gives them an opportunity. I've seen situations where they're like, is his name really Outlaw? Yeah.
No, but here's the thing about it, right? On the flip side of
Mm-hmm.
that, what happens is I distinguish myself immediately. And like I say, I bring up the felony because that's the system.
Yeah.
I bring up the name because that's perception. I bring up the skin color because that is the determining factor in our nation. These three different elements right here are things that I have to consider before I even introduce myself. And what we have to understand is that no matter how we're introduced, right? Because I can sit up and tell everybody about my Irish blood, but then my black folks are gonna be talking about, oh, bro, you trying to, but see, that's what I'm saying. It's always something. It's always a way for somebody to sit there and tell you that you're less than because of how you choose to present yourself. That's why I just tell them I'm duty or die. That's what my daddy told me I was. My name is Outlaw. If I need to interpret it for you, people have been asking me since I was 3 years old. Everything else is what you put on me.
Right.
Your judgments.
Yeah.
You feel me? So in the end, I pray for the mixed kids of the world. I pray for all these people being put in these damn categories because the self-perception ends up being worse than the world's perception.
Yes, it is. It definitely, and then like not knowing yourself, it feeds into that as well. Like your self-esteem, how confident you are, how you interpret things. Like I promise it took a while. It did take a while for me to grasp this and not take comments and feed into it and take it negatively and let it bring me down. Because the fact, to me, how I look at those type of things, and this is advice that I'm gonna just throw out there, whoever needs it, take it, put it in your pocket, put it in your purse, wherever you need to put it. most of the time people are saying things, negative things, I take it as if they're not comfortable with themselves. So if you can sit here and judge the negative things about me, that's just how you look at things, period. Because I don't look at someone and be like, oh my gosh, they are super skinny. You know what I mean? Like why does that matter? They got a big heart. They're wonderful. They eat all day with me. Like that doesn't matter to me. You know, oh my gosh, her hair. Like that doesn't matter. Like you looking for the negative in people to try to point it out for what?
Yeah, but that
or
goes
why?
back to what you said earlier too. It's in the end, like most people, it's about how they feel about themselves. It's not how they feel about you.
Mm-hmm.
When they're pointing out your issues, it's probably because they can't see the issues in themselves.
Within themselves.
You know, Bible talked about that. Before you start talking about the speck in your brother's eye, pick the big ass brick moat out your eye.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I hate to put them words in there with that verse, but it's real like that. Man.
Mm-hmm.
Like we out here, and the people that's supposed to be close to us, the people that's supposed to know us the most, the people that's supposed to bring us in are the people that's chopping us up.
Mm-hmm.
Lord have mercy.
You know, and it's crazy because I was talking to a friend of mine and she was telling me, and she's Hispanic, and she was telling me how the women were making comments about her weight and to make her feel a little better. I'm like, oh, that happens. You know what I mean? Like, I'll go to my grandma's house. She's like, you look like getting a little weight. You gotta watch that. But why? I am watching it. I watch it when I put it in my mouth. But why? And it bothered her. And she was like, you know, they're so critical on it. She was like, in growing up, her father used to do that to her, so she would watch what she eats. She had to make sure she maintained a certain weight. But why?
Yeah.
But why? People in your own race, your family, like you said, be the most critical on those things when they should be the most understanding.
No, they should be the ones that are explaining to you
Breaking it down.
These
Mhm.
things run in our family and why we have a culture of overweight people, and we're telling you to be skinny. We're not telling you to stop eating food that we cooking. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't even understand that you actually got the same weight that everybody in the family got, because we all eat the same damn shit. But once again, it's a pressure that we end up putting on the people that we love without even understanding why we're doing it.
Or explaining why. Even if you do understand, you ain't explaining.
I'm just saying, you know, I get ridiculed for being small, but everybody that's big needs to be a little bit smaller, and everybody that's smaller, I'm sure, probably need to be a little bit bigger. But in the end, the determining factor is nobody know what I deal with that makes me be this way. We got to call her. Hold on one second. Caller, you are now relating with Rocky on 22.3 Take Over Vegas Radio. Who we talking to?
Hey, good morning. This is Myra from Los Angeles.
Myra.
Good morning, Myra.
Good morning. Shout out to you, man. How are you this morning?
I'm good. I'm listening to what you guys are talking about, and I can completely relate to it, especially culture-wise. I'm actually Hispanic. I'm Mexican and Honduran.
Okay.
But I'm one of the darkest ones in my family. So growing up, I was always teased about how dark my skin was.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was always being called a monkey, you know, and negra and things like that. You know, so I know how to relate to that, but I think it's mainly a colonized trauma
Yes.
that has been happening from generations, where they taught us that our dark skin was not beautiful, and it just continues. You know, it continues on from generation to generation. And like I forgot your co-host name. Like she said, you know, it took me time to actually love myself. You know, love my color, my skin, and everything. And yeah, I could totally relate with that.
Man.
I was listening to you guys, and I'm like, yeah, it happens in the Latin culture also, you know?
No, definitely. And that's one of the things that, you know, I'm thankful that you brought up, because a lot of people don't consider all the Africans that were brought to South America, all the traveling that Africans did way before the slave trade, right? Let's get past even just the colonization. People from the islands, people from South America, from North America, from Africa, from Asia have been traveling the world forever.
Right.
We have been communicating, and just because we don't always blend our bodies, we blend cultures. That's why there's pyramids all over the world. That's why people tend to look alike. And then you consider, like you said, that Honduras is known for their darker skinned people. And maybe your family, I'm sure, they don't always explain to you why you look different.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They don't always explain to you the benefits of maybe you looking a little different or having dark skin. All it ends up being is a way to point us out. And it ends up being ridiculed. And unfortunately, like you said, we have to find the adjustments, and we have to deal with the trauma of that. But we have to cut that off, because we encourage that when we fall in line with not just defending ourselves, but not making sure that we put people in place to know how they made us feel.
Correction, right? Correcting them. Myra, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What advice would you give a young woman, young man that is going through that phase that you said you understand that what I was saying, it took a while to love yourself. What advice would you give a person that's going through that?
My advice would be look into your roots. You know, once you start finding your roots in your culture, you fall more in love with yourself.
Salute to
Because
that.
you start learning the beauty of your roots and your culture and, you know, where you come from. And it's a beautiful thing. I mean, that's what I started to learn. I started to learn that my father was an Afro-Honduran.
Okay.
So his roots go deeper. And I'm like, okay, my culture is way deeper than what I think. I'm not just indigenous and European, because that was my mother's side. You know, my great-grandfather is indigenous and my great-grandmother was Spaniard. So, you know, I started seeing this other side on my father's bloodline also, and that just made me feel even more beautiful that I have so much culture coming.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, just stop looking at the entertainment business also. They tend to really brainwash ladies and girls thinking that you need to be light-skinned and you need to be a certain type of way. Even in Mexican culture, the novelas are full of white Mexicans,
Yes.
you know? And every time they put a dark Mexican in the novela, they're either like poor or really ignorant, you know, and it confuses a lot of people. So I think mainly to parents, don't allow your children to watch certain things.
Mm-hmm. Right.
No, and that's a cold world that we live in too. Is like, you know, how do we influence our children knowing that these stereotypes, that these biases are pressed through the entertainment? So, you know, that's awesome that you brought that up. I want to ask you this, Myra. You know, being a Black man, I can only relate to my own culture, knowing, like I was saying earlier, how we deal with colorism and all things like that. But having Hispanic friends and knowing that the same things happen in their culture, in you guys' culture, like, could you explain to the people out there, you know, how the bias works in Hispanic culture from your experience?
Or the bias culture between the Latin culture.
Yeah, with the colorism and even the racism between Hispanics.
Oh, yeah. Well, when I go to Mexico, a lot of people think, oh, you're going to Mexico, you blend in. No. Where I go to in Jalisco, there's Europeans colonized that area, so there's a lot of light skin, colored eyes Mexicans.
Man.
And they still divide the indigenous people with the, you know, white Mexicans. And so I think a lot of entertainment plays a lot in it, the colonized trauma. So growing up, they're always like, marry a white man so you can have light-skinned babies and so they can be lighter. And, you know, they're always trying to lighten you up.
Yeah. And it's unfortunate. It is. And what we have to realize as humans is that this goes on all over the place. And this influence, that colonization, these colonizers that have came in and confused us with the perception of what beauty is, confused us with the perception, not just by opinion, but with straight propaganda. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and we have to educate ourselves, because we have to fight against it, and it's a mental game. You know, and shout out and salute to all the women out there, because we know that you know, all women are beautiful.
Yes.
But we also know how that is used against them. I mean, healthcare and beauty is one of the highest businesses in the world, because they take advantage of how women think of themselves and how culturally they've set us up to think of ourselves. So, you know, salute to you, salute to all the women out there that's fighting every day to understand who they are, and that they're not defined by people's perception or the media or anybody else out there, man. And I got daughters that it's important for them to understand that too. And it's going to take strong women out there to be those examples. I can't just tell her how beautiful she is. You know what I'm saying? She needs to know how beautiful she is, and the world needs to be able to tell women how beautiful they are. No matter what you look like, how tall, how short, how wide, how slim, what part of the world you come from, I promise you there's beauty inside and out of you. Ms. Myra, thank you so much for calling in.
No problem.
Do you have any shout outs or anything that you want to say before we get up out of here?
Shout out to your beautiful girl, Jennifer.
Yes,
You're
she
so
is a
dope.
baby. Yes, she is.
And to you guys, I enjoy listening to you guys every morning. I would listen and I watch the Up Live. So
No,
you guys are awesome.
Thank you, Myra. Thank you for
salute
calling
to
in too.
everybody on Up Live that's plugged in with us, man. I know everybody's on that Asian time schedule because Up Live is a Asian platform, but we hold it down over here in America for the thing, man. Plugged in with Duty Outlaw, Rocky Relays, and finally Friday on 22.3. We're gonna get into some music. We thank you guys so much. If you guys want to call in, please 702-412-5870. You can get with Rocky. You can get in the conversation. You can request a song. You can give a shout out. If you want to hit us up through Up Live, through Facebook, through YouTube, don't be shy. Come by and say hi. Tell a friend that we are rocking. Rocky, anything you want to say before we get to this music?
No, I just appreciate Myra calling in and bringing a different perspective to it. I appreciate you tuning in and all those that are tuning in. Call us up, talk to us. You know, we like to hear different views, different opinions, experiences, all that. Chop it up with us. We'll be back with you guys. Let's get into some music. That's so funny. She said, shout out to Jennifer. I said, hell is Jennifer?
Wanna be everything, most definitely you can have me. Anytime you get to see, all you got to do is promise me that you love me every day and every night. Bring me down so right. All you gotta do is take your time and keep me satisfied. I wanna know the times you want. Yeah. I just wanna keep this thing going strong. And I wanna know just what you like. Baby, I promise you that with me it'll always be better than alright. It'll be better than alright. Better than alright. Keep you up all night, doing all the stuff you like. Million times better than alright. Million times better than alright. Better than alright.
Your Las Vegas connection for music, news, and fun. 22.3. Take over Vegas Radio.
Baby, I had to pause and rewind. Now I can't get it out of my mind. How you make it feel me like the first time? It's so familiar. I don't wanna do it forever, but it's somehow, yeah. That made me wanna get you better. You remind me. Feel like I already know you, even though I don't know you. You remind me. Never had a feel like this. Never had a feel like this. I know you got to love, baby. Got me on the high, baby. Never had a feel like this. Never had a feel like this. I know you got to love, baby. Got me on the high, baby.
Keep a better hole for me, a J roll for me. An Airbnb in quarantine the whole summer. Half black, half white, like a pair of new 11s. Everybody say they love me, where's everybody ever know? No runner, 0-0, well I know. I've been echelon, big step out of okay, you think they got my nose. When you was crazy, you put the soul in the episode. Yeah, we all got stars, we all got cars, they ain't all got signs like us. We don't really notice when you with us. A lot of girls show over their shoulder for a picture. A lot of girls show me who they are for who they isn't. A lot of girls don't know their potential. A lot of women toxic, a lot of women vicious. You remind me of something different. Let's get it.
You remind me. Feel like I already know you, even though I don't know you. You remind me. Never had a
I'm saying you look good, but you just look familiar. And I ain't getting ready to hurt it, just get ready to go.
We don't know what we're made of. Something we will find out through. Stay up all night, just lay up. It's hot, but it's been stuck to remove. All of it goes. It ain't no romance. Just makes me nasty.
What up, yo? What up, Lex?
The new sound of Las Vegas, 22.3, Takeover Vegas Radio.
I don't got the time or the patience to do with your shit today. You been walking around with a stank attitude like your shit don't stink. I don't give you no trouble on most days, but I will today. I done showed my tongue, got the right to be in my feels today. Cause I work too hard, but I love you way more harder. I didn't have my share of being walked all over, now I'm smarter. You think you right, or you ain't, I saw her, just like water. You know it,
I saw this TikTok about her
go no further, give me
and how she basically pushed down those real things. I was like, oh, and I love her. If y'all don't know what this is,
my patience running low when you only got a lot of time. And you find somebody else too. She can never be me. Just want someone that you do what you want, but that'll never be me. Love to treat you right, but I'm check you when you're wrong. You can tell me that you're hitting me quick, it's rolling through your phone. I work too hard, but I love you way more harder. I didn't have my share of being walked all over, now I'm smarter. The things I'm showing you, but that truth got you so bothered. You know it puts up your chest, but then I go no further. It's fine. If you don't get your act together, you don't have to get together. It's fine. It's fine. My patience running low, you only got a lot of time. It's fine. And no, don't get it, do ya? I'm telling you, I heard it. I can only take so much. Hey, hey. Oh, you don't get it, do ya? I'm telling you, I heard it. I can only take so much. Hey, hey, hey. Bad vibe. If you don't get your act together, you might have to hang like. Ooh, bad vibe. You gon' probably be right back tomorrow, might as well hang like.
All right, welcome back. You know, today is Takeover Thursday. You're here with your girl Rocky, plugged in with Duty. It's Rocky Relates. Every Thursday we get to it. Rocky Relates is sponsored by Copacetic Designs and Crystal Clear Marketing. I want to thank you guys for who's tuning in. However you're tuning in, tune in. Norbix, YouTube, MyTuner Radio, Mixer, Laura, Up Live, Live Me, all that good stuff. So, Duty, before we went to break, we were talking. Beautiful Myra called in. Hopped in the conversation with us.
Shout out to Myra.
And one thing that she talked about that I want to touch on a little bit more is being a woman and the aspects of the beauty. You guys were, getting into that a little bit. And like I was telling you outside, one of the things I struggled with was my natural hair.
Man.
So for a long time, I would not wear my hair natural.
Why not?
I didn't find it pretty, or it wasn't accepted as beautiful. It took a while.
Yeah. It
took a different environment or different people, different women, other women to tell me, hey, that's beautiful.
Hey, empowerment is real.
It is. And I will always straighten my hair. And I remember I was maybe like 16, 17. My mom took me to go get my hair done. And she took me to someone who knew a little bit more about my type of hair, being that it is mixed. It's certain things that I can and can't do to it. It's certain things that may be too harsh, or certain things that it's not enough to, keep the moisture in. And she told me to stop straightening my hair. Don't get into flat ironing. Don't get into dyeing it. Don't get into trying to do all this stuff that you see these Caucasian women doing, because you can't.
Well,
you're going to end up bald-headed. She was like me. And she literally had a little ponytail. She was like me. I thought I'd dye red, blonde, brown. My hair started falling out.
Man.
I didn't listen.
Of course not.
I didn't.
And I'm not saying this because you're hard-headed. that's the culture. Like, you want to wear your hair straight. You want to wear your hair with the colors. You want to do what everybody else do, right?
Right. Well, who's everybody else?
what we see on TV,
Right.
right?
Right. So, I mean, that's a big thing. And it took a while. Like Myron was saying, it took a while to love my natural state, you know, without altering to fit into society's view of this.
Man,
And I realized it was beautiful. It was healthy. It was, you know, just like, and that's unique. That's beautiful.
yes.
The fact that I could walk around here, this is my natural hair. I didn't have to put any chemicals in it.
Nope.
I didn't have to add any extensions. This is who I am.
Ain't no blue.
Right. Nothing in this is who I am.
No, and like for me, one of the first things that I learned about weaves was that they stick to everything. So my sister, when she was younger, she would play with weaves. She was trying to get herself into it, and you know, I saw what she was going through. I started hating them because the hair was everywhere.
Mhm.
And so I started doing research where this hair coming from. Not the synthetic hair, but that stuff they was talking about that was expensive. 'Cause I'm
Right.
like,
Right.
they spending money. Let me know what it is. Then I found out what it was, and I'm like, oh, that's not something that I think people should be using. And I started speaking out on it, and people started bashing me. Like, don't worry about what I'm doing with my hair, nigga. And I'm like, hold on, you wearing somebody's hair that sacrificed their hair to their religious god, you know what I'm saying? And they selling it out the back alley, and you buying it and putting it in your head, like, that don't make, yeah, I wouldn't do that. But once again, you know, I was a little ahead of my time.
Right.
I noticed, you know, with reading books about how Black women would perm their hair and
Mhm.
press their hair and things like that.
Mhm.
And now we're learning that those perms cause cancer. We're learning the residual effects of these European tastes
Yes.
is death,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mhm.
I hate to get back to it. Like, you know, one of my favorite verses, the wages of sin is death. The payback for doing things that are not natural is death. So when we start altering ourselves, when we start finding ways to not be who we are naturally, we're killing ourselves.
Killing it, exactly. And when you put it like that, you know, somebody needs to hear that. Are you willing to go to that extent to fit into somebody else's image?
Well, we get the warnings, but we don't always understand the warnings. Like you said, somebody told you, hey, you know what? This is what happened to your head, and showed you they hit it themselves. And that didn't make
And it still didn't stop me.
No,
It didn't.
I do it with my kids, right? Like, I had a serious soda addiction.
Mhm.
When I say soda addiction, I would go to sleep with a 2 liter of Mountain Dew, and I would wake up with a 2 liter of Mountain Dew. I would drink it hot, cold.
Your stomach
into
didn't
the-
hurt?
No, my stomach didn't hurt, but I destroyed my teeth,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so when I'm talking to my kids, I'm like, yo, you need to go do this, do that, and I will show them. I will show them the horrible things that have happened inside of my mouth. Did that make them get up in the morning and brush their teeth? Hell no.
It worked for me. It was. I didn't even tell you that story. I showed Jayla some pictures to see that she was in the bathroom just bawling her eyes out. Like, if you don't brush your teeth, this is what your mouth gonna look like. And I promise it worked after that.
And see, that's the thing. Like, some people, that works for them.
Some people it does, and some people it doesn't.
No, it
And
doesn't.
that's you. That's not me.
Yes.
This
You
is
know,
exactly because I would be that person. That's you. That's not me.
yeah, and so that's the hard part. The hard part is trying to show people and knowing that they're not going to always listen.
Yeah, and it's sad that it has to be that way.
No, it's life though.
It is.
You got to learn the hard way. Sometimes you got to cut all your hair off to figure out that maybe you shouldn't have been wearing no perms or no weave or nothing like that. And sometimes you don't have consequences, and that's okay too.
Yeah, that is okay. I mean, hey, it is what it is. I just I do want to tell the young women out there, or the females out there, that you are beautiful the way that you are. You don't have to. And sometimes, you know, you feel like, as a female, you may feel like you want to throw 30 inches in your head, and that's okay too. Because I'm not gonna, I still do it. I get the little clip-ins though, because I'm not gonna sit here. I can pull it out when it's time to go to bed. And even those type of things are bad for you. But I also did my research. Like, how does this work? Oh, it's not good. It's heavy on your hair. It's gonna pull your hair out the follicles, and I still clip them in my head. Because why?
Because you wanted to.
Because I wanted to, but before it'd be because I felt as if I had to look beautiful. Now I want to.
That's the difference.
I want to wake up. I do want my hair longer today because the outfit I'm wearing, you know,
Yeah.
this needs to include inches on it. And it happens like that, but it's a difference in wanting to fit in somebody else's image and doing it for yourself.
True.
That's what makes the difference in it, not because you feel like someone's gonna look down on you, or you feel like you're not gonna fit in.
How do we see that line? 'Cause that's a real great line, right?
Yes.
How do we know the difference between doing what we want to do and doing what is culturally accepted?
I mean, it's all in yourself,
Because right now, being natural is becoming the trend.
which is beautiful.
No, I appreciate that.
But I wish it wasn't a trend. I wish it was a
I wish it was the standard.
Exactly, and it should be. But who sets that standard?
Well, here's the thing. Once again, the European taste. So all of us individually come from different backgrounds. We come from different families, all of that type of thing. But the people that we look to should be the people that we know, and not looking to celebrities or looking to artists or looking to popular culture. And I think that's where we get caught up. It's go back to conversations we have a lot of times, on Wednesday, all three of us, when Neil's here. It's like we depend on the world to teach our kids, and then we want to correct it.
Right.
When that's ass backwards.
It is
really,
ass backwards.
We should be setting the standard and letting our kids know what the standard is, so that when they go out into the world, they don't conform.
Yeah. It's like I said, I have a 6-year-old, and looking at her hair is definitely different. So she watches the Disney Channel from time to time, and Barbie, and you know how they look. But I refuse. No, we're not straightening your hair. I do it though.
Yeah.
So again, that's
it's
that's kind of
like, hold on, mama.
Well, because I'm grown and I can, but it's I have to teach her that. So my thing is, no, it's gonna ruin your hair. But again, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
But again, I'm also an adult, so I could upkeep this, and it goes back to teaching her. If you want to do these things, there's certain steps that you have to take. You have to invest in yourself. You have to make sure, because you can do those things, but you also have to take care of yourself.
Yeah, it's about explaining them too.
It's breaking it down.
Let it be broke.
Breaking it down. Like speaking of my daughter, so when Myra was saying that in her culture, lighter is more acceptable. When I had my child, I decided that I wanted a light-skinned child.
So that was one of the determining factors in
Yes, it was.
Look, Lord, see the type of trouble we put ourselves in.
Right, but my reasoning for this was because I felt it'd be easier for her in society.
And see, that goes back. Miss Dawn, she's on our Facebook feed, and shout out to everybody that's listening on Facebook.
Miss Dawn.
I apologize that we can't directly interact with you, but we got a lot of stuff going on. She made a comment about the name thing, right? And for me, whether it's skin tone, whether it's the names, like for me, I don't want my kids to have to adjust to society.
Right.
And unfortunately, we live in a world where everybody's adjusting to everything else. And the things we're adjusting to are so horribly bad. And we have to strategize now.
Right.
Because these are not just the perceptions, these are the realities we live with. If you have lighter skin, you're going to be treated favorable. If you look a certain way, you're going to be treated favorable. If your name is a certain pronunciation, what I'm saying, you might not be treated well. Like, that's just how it goes. Tell what's her name to come here. I'm tired of saying her name.
Right.
She don't deserve that. You know what I'm saying? If you can't take the time to respectfully learn somebody's name, or you can't take the time to recognize talent in somebody beyond what they look like. I worked retail for a major corporation, and I was instructed by supervisors who not to hire.
Oh, no, that happens a lot. Yeah.
Don't hire that fat person. Don't hire that ugly person. Outlaw, man, you too nice. I know she's a good worker, but put her in the back of the store. Huh? But that's the reality.
That is the reality. It's for working for these corporations. That's the type of things that.
So we need to, instead of strategizing for our kids to have lighter skin or strategizing their names to fit into these systems, we need to strategize how to make sure our kids don't have to conform no more. How we can destroy the perception of our own mind of conformity and make sure that our kids don't have to fall in line with that, because that's what's happened to us. We done what our parents taught us to do.
Right.
And our parents had to find a way to survive.
But see, how do we go about doing that? Because again, they still have to go out in society. So we could be teaching them all these things, and
well, once again, let's start at home.
Okay.
If we set up a structure, a family structure, to where not only do our kids know who they are, where they come from, but they also understand what their purpose is. If your purpose in life is only to make money, you'll never, ever, ever reach the pinnacle of that.
Right.
Right? Whoever is the number one guy in the world right now with the most money, there's somebody coming for him, and they pass each other up every day. That don't mean nothing to nobody, right? So we have to set it up to where our kids know. Like right now, I don't want my kids who have to work for nobody. Not have to. There are situations where it's necessary, but they need to be able to know that they can enterprise for themselves, so they don't have to conform to somebody else's things. Because what happens when you have to give up the booty hole to get that job?
Right.
Right? What happened when you got to get a vaccine to get that job? What happened when you got to have a microchip to get that job? These are all the same things, right? So I was watching a movie with my girl, and it was about these 7 sisters.
Mm-hmm.
So they were living in a society where you couldn't have more than one kid. This is the dogma that's being preached. Oh, we're running out of resources.
What is this?
What is it? I forgot the name.
Monday. Where's Monday? I was
Monday?
gonna say something about Monday. Yes,
It's
where's
a
Monday?
movie
Okay.
on Netflix. Where is Monday? It's not an American movie, but it's an amazing movie just for the concept.
They switch out
Exactly.
every day, right?
So
Okay.
you got 7 sisters in a society where you can't have more than one child.
Okay.
So each child is responsible for a day of the week. So they go through life, and each of them get to go outside this one day of the week, but they're all pretending to be the same person,
Right.
right? But when they're inside, they get to be themselves. When they're outside, they all got to be the same person. This is how we live,
Mm,
right?
Mhm.
And since we know that our home is our safe place, it's supposed to be our safe place,
right.
then we need to set up a structure where we're safe at home and understand that the mask that we put on and go outside is not a mask we really want to have to wear. So let's not make that the natural thing,
Right.
right? But
There we
on
go.
top of that, let's say that we don't even want to deal with that, right? If I got to deal with you and the first thing that matters to you is something about me that really has no context in
Mhm.
our relationship,
Mhm.
I don't want to deal with you. That being said, if you're only my friend because I look a certain way, you think I'm attractive or I'm black or whatever the deal is, you're not really my friend.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of people have those type of issues, but it goes deeper than just race. So as a man, I understand that maybe sex isn't something that's used against me as a pretext to be able to get me things that I want. I can't use that weapon.
Right.
Those that have that, right? And I call it a weapon, but it's a weapon that used both ways.
Mhm.
There are women out there that use sex as a weapon. There are women out there where sex is used as a weapon against them.
Mhm.
None of that is fair or
Mhm.
cool, but I can't poo-poo one without poo-pooing the other. I can't sit up and say, okay, there's men out there that take advantage of women by pressuring them with sex, knowing that there's women out there that take advantage of men and take advantage of situations with sex too. I
Right.
would say all of it is wrong.
Right.
Right. And so we have to get away from that training. We have to get away from teaching our sons that sex is the most important thing when dealing with women, that looks is the most important thing.
Right.
And we also got to teach our daughters that sex and looks is not the thing that's going to get them ahead every time.
Right.
Because
Right.
what it does is lead them down a path of destruction.
Right. It only takes you so far.
These survival tactics,
Mhm.
right? When the slaves were freed, they
Mhm.
were not allowed to have jobs. They were not allowed to own things. So they had to do things that allowed them to live. They had to prostitute themselves. They had to rob and steal to
Mhm.
eat. They had to figure those things out. Those were survival tactics. We shouldn't have to use the same survival tactics.
Right.
And if we do find ourselves having to use the same survival tactics, maybe it's by design.
Right.
Maybe
Definitely need to reevaluate. We need to reevaluate what's going on.
well,
Did y'all hear that? By design.
by this, I hate to get so deep on y'all early this morning. It is 9:13 a.m. Pacific Standard Time here in Las Vegas. But United States is a place that was used for debauchery.
Mm-hmm.
Look up New Orleans. You know what I'm saying? Look up the sex farms that they used to have. They didn't just have plantations where these folks was cooking collard greens and picking
Right.
cotton and shit like y'all think.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They had places where, I'm not just talking about the buck breaking places either, where they went to go put people in a position to be docile slaves. I'm talking about the places where they just went to go have sex. I'm talking about the places like in Django where they just went to go watch people fight to the death. I'm
Right.
talking about the crazy shit that we don't talk about in society. So when we're talking about this bias and this racism and how they've treated black folks, natives, Asians, Hispanics, all these people that have come here with good intentions, these colonizers have destroyed our mindset because we have adopted these things.
Yes.
We use them and we say we have to conform into them because this is what they accept. Nah, we're not accepting that.
And that's it, and that's all, and that's where we got to go from that. And like we were saying about the plantation, that's where it started. This colorism
All
thing,
this,
yeah, because the light skinned ones was in the house, dark skinned ones was outside.
well, the light skinned ones was
They was
the
mixed-
seeds of
Yes,
the
yes.
fathers and the mothers.
Have you ever watched the show Underground?
No, I'm familiar with it though.
And so that like broke it down to me, like the mother of one of the girls and the brother, like they were treated different.
Yeah.
Everybody knew, all the slaves knew that they were treated differently. Why?
Yeah.
Because she's the master's child.
Colgate. But see, this is the thing. These folks, if you're willing to rape a woman,
Mm-hmm.
have her bear a child,
Mm-hmm.
treat that child different, but not allow that child to be treated as your child.
Right.
You like think about the the trauma, right? And we know
Yes.
trauma is passed on through DNA. And we all deal with PTSD, but specifically in this country, when it comes to the race and the sex and all of these things, these dividers, these are not here just in our mind just because we made them up. Lady Gaga sing the song, I Was Born This Way. I didn't make America. You know what I'm saying? America made me. So we have to recognize that there has to be a rectification. There has to be a correction. And that's the problem right now. I'm gonna shift because I gotta ask you about this.
Okay.
I am not a psychic. I am not anybody that can read the future, but I do pay attention and I see things happening before they happen. And I had a prediction a couple years ago that Donald Trump was going to attempt to postpone the election. This is before Corona. This is before all of that. Keep in mind, Donald Trump had accused Obama of possibly using that as a strategy to stay in office. Big Gregory had spoke about it too. So this morning, our president decided that he wanted to say that it's a possibility that he didn't want to have elections because he doesn't trust the mail-in ballots.
He could say that.
He can say what he want to say. Apparently, I mean that's the world we live in.
I mean,
right
he
now.
could say that, but can he do that? That's what I mean. That's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Actually, he could. Right, but it goes into our conversation about bias.
Yes.
What it comes down to right now in our nation is us waking up and recognizing that all the things that separate us are by design.
Right.
My guy G, shout out to G. We've been talking, and G is a white guy from the South.
Okay.
And it's funny because perception is that we don't have nothing in common. But the reality is we're much alike and we're very good friends because we understand that we're much alike. We're way more alike than we are different.
Right.
We have to cut back on the things that make us different right now. We have to start recognizing the things that make us alike because the people that are aiming to divide us are aiming to make moves on us right now.
Yeah.
We've been talking about making a move, right? I've been telling you and telling others about changing how we think and how we deal with each other and re-strategizing. The reason I've been on that so much is because they're pushing their strategy on us. We got to start recognizing that we got to have a plan too.
Yeah, no, most definitely. They've been trying to divide. I mean, I don't want to say they've been successful. They have been successful.
No, it has been very successful. That's
very
the whole
successful. And like we were saying earlier, a lot of people are in a different mind state now. A lot of people are
waking
woke.
up.
Yeah, and they're seeing things for what they are. They're calling the bullshit.
Yeah.
And what better time to unite and discuss this?
Real talk, and our kids are watching right
Yes.
now. And like you said, when we put ourselves in a position to try to adjust to society, that's why we have the issues we have right now. We have to start pressing the line. They're pressing the line on us.
Yeah.
And our kids are watching to see what we're going to do. Right now is the time for all of us to make a move. And I'm not just saying that as a catchphrase, y'all. I'm so serious. Like, it is the time to make a move. And I ain't saying you got to do something drastic. I'm not saying that you got to change up everything. All I'm saying is make small understandings into adjustments. How we talk to our children, how we deal with our spouses, how we deal with our friends and family now is the most important thing, because trust. Right now, men and women don't trust each other.
Yeah.
Races don't trust each other. You got people within races not trusting. We have to stop with the divide and find ways to come together. First thing we have to recognize is trauma. The first thing we got to recognize is being used against us, right? So since we know that, we're aware of it, what are we going to do about it? What are we going to do, Rock? Like, you got to go home and you got to deal with your family. You got to go to work and you got to deal with them. You got to, other people that you choose to deal with. And then you got other people that you got to choose not to deal with. But right now, like as a friend, you know what I've been encouraging? We got to make moves. We got to make decisions. We got to make it happen. But let me ask you, all the stuff going on, I know your priorities, but how is it making you feel with this awakening going on?
I don't want to use the word overwhelmed, but a lot of realization, being that I am a leader, whether it was by choice or not. I'm realizing these gifts.
Ordained.
Right, exactly. I'm realizing my gifts, and I'm realizing my voice is louder than I expected it to be, or ever thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
So you have to move, whether you want to or not. It's scary. I'm going to be honest with you. It's scary.
Yeah.
It's scary to have to be that person. But like you say, somebody has to do it.
Yeah.
Nobody else is doing it right now, so somebody has to lead the way. Somebody has to show that, okay, this can be done. It might be some bumps in the road, but don't worry, I got you.
Somebody got to do it.
Somebody has to start this movement, and whoever's gonna jump on is gonna jump on. But my thing is, don't jump on when you see it moving.
I'm just saying,
because it's information giving. You know, people have conversations, whether you retain the information or not, that's on you. But when you see that this information
message
it's the truth, don't try to change your mind, man. You gotta
get with it now.
Get with it now.
The homework has to be done. That's the hard part for a lot of folks. A lot of people don't want to do the research. A lot of people don't want to look into it.
They don't want that information. Like I said, it's scary.
Some people don't want to wake up.
It is.
I don't want to wake up.
It's a scary thing to have to process all these things and have to realize that this is the world that we live in.
It's real life.
This is what's going on, and whether you want to address it or not, you have to.
Yeah.
You know, one way or the other.
No, it's definitely a blessing to have people around from different perspectives and different views and different understandings, but also that are willing to be open about being real. So many people walking around here thinking that perfection is in the other person's hand.
Yeah.
Right? I was telling my girl this. I judge myself way worse than anybody could ever judge me.
Yeah.
And when I realized that, I really had to recognize that other people's perception didn't matter to me anyway. So me even considering it was too much. Because now I'm boggling myself so much with how I'm judging myself, and then I'm considering how other people feel when I know it really don't matter.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah.
So we have to get out of our own way. We have to get the stuff that we know is wrong. Let's start adjusting. Let's start dealing with those issues. For those out there that are dealing with feeling lost, it's okay.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with feeling confused, nothing wrong with feeling lost, feeling overwhelmed. The key is to understand that doesn't come from nothing.
Yes,
right?
It's a reason for it.
It's a reason.
You gotta dig.
We deal with trauma. We deal with PTSD. I deal personally with anxiety. And it's not something that I always can control, but it is my intention at all times to be in control of my decision making. So no matter how I feel, I have to make decisions based off of what I was supposed to do, not my emotion in the moment.
Right, and that's the adjustment there. Adjusting to that, like you know that you have anxiety. Okay, you might go into a situation knowing this is gonna cause me anxiety, but you still have to push through that.
Straight.
And that's what people need to see. That there is going to be bumps in the road with this movie. It's going to be things that you have to push through, but it's going to be easier to push through if you bond together.
Yes, we come together.
Come together.
Here's the thing, folks. We're live on the radio right now. We're live on all these different streaming platforms, and we're far from perfect, right? So it's easy to get into the comments, and I do this a lot too. And I can edit, go back, and think about what I said. But if you go back and you read, how people think in the moment compared to how you think when you thought about the situation, it's a big difference.
It is.
And we have to start considering that we're not always right, but we also have to consider that how we feel is right, right? We keep fighting against our better sense. We keep fighting against what we know is the deal. Like you said, we grown. We consider the consequences. I can deal with that. I can handle it. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's an alcohol binge or dyeing our hair. Look, even shaving my head every day. My natural hair, like, you know what I'm saying? My hairline ain't the greatest, but I'm sure my natural hair, wearing it is probably the best for me. But I'm worried about everybody's perception and how I'm supposed to look and trying to be handsome and all these type of things. This European standard, that's what holds us all back in a lot of situations. So let's open ourselves up to recognizing in ourselves the things that we're conforming and understand why we're conforming, and it is even valuable to us.
Yeah, and this is true. I've been doing research, like Myra would say, go back to your roots.
Yes.
So because I've been feeling overwhelmed or not understanding the feelings that I'm feeling, is something that's telling me to go backwards, dig a little bit deeper. So being that I'm Polynesian, I went back into the Hawaiian culture. I had to call my grandma up and ask a few questions and see what her opinion of it was, or her perception of the situation, and European standards. So before the missionaries came over to Hawaii, now Hawaiians believe in multiple gods and goddesses, but that was something that was brought in.
Yes.
Initially, it was just one, and they believed in the spirit of aloha.
Okay.
So when I was watching a YouTube video, when it was broken down, aloha means face to face, and ha means spirits coming together. And he said something that sat with me. So he was like, there's a difference between spirituality and religion. Everybody has a spirit. not everybody has religion.
True.
You know, that's something that is given to you.
Yes.
That's something that's given to you. So going back into this spirit thing, being in tune with yourself, that's what I take it as. Because when people hear the word spirituality, some might automatically get thrown off.
No,
Like,
the dogmas of religion cause for us to not always understand the definition of words of what people are saying or what we understand. But go ahead.
So it's looking within yourself. That's what I
Period.
got from watching this. That it starts within you.
Yeah.
And realizing that somebody else, you know, they're an individual as well, but coming together to help each other is what I took from what he said.
Yeah.
So that was my perception of watching this video, you know, reading these little articles and things, that everybody's individual. Like, you know, you got to come together though and analyze those things and work together and be one.
Yeah.
And I think about the things that we talk about, and it comes to understanding, because we can come together, but if 3 or 4 people in this don't understand why they just doing it just because, how strong is that?
Man, it's real. Sometimes you don't gotta know how important you are to be able to get the job done, but when you do know, sometimes it makes you work a little better.
It does. Understanding of who you are makes things better. And I feel like what we were talking about, everybody is going through this awakening.
Yes.
They're not willing to answer those questions though. Who am I? That's been my biggest question for the past few days. Who am I? And what am I doing?
Who are you, Rocky?
I'm Rocky, Rakayla. I'm a mother. I'm a friend. I'm a sister. You know, and not in that order though, but
Yes.
that's all part of who I am.
Well, here's the thing too. You don't gotta put it in order, right?
You don't have to.
Because here's the thing: if you know, whether you make it a pie chart, maybe you make it just a grand number or a scheme, in the end, it all makes you who you are. All of it comes together. It's for a unique package that is for Caleb.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what's beautiful about all of us, because none of us are the same, because all of our experience is different, all of our backgrounds is different, and things that make us who we are different. See, that's why siblings are different. If that was the case, every 2 people that came together would have the same exact child every time.
Right. Who wants that?
No, you can't have that, because everything is different. The pregnancy is different. The environment is different. All of those
The
things
emotions are different.
come into creating all of us individuals. And when we do finally take our individual self and come together as a collective, that's when we're at our greatest. I really feel that. You know what I'm saying? And so shout out to you for not allowing people to break you down, but also for recognizing who you are.
Right. And it's a process, folks. So don't, it wasn't always like this. It wasn't. So, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, you got to do this. No, I'm only speaking it because I've been through it. And it's an ongoing journey. I'm still going through it. But it's one that I feel everybody should take. Yeah. And maybe at different times, people may have to get slapped around a few times, fall on their ass a few times before they realize what's really up. Okay. And sometimes even then, you don't want to. You don't want to pay attention to these things. You kind of push it to the side because it's easier to push the real away. To be honest with you, it's easier for some people. I'm not going to say for all people, but for some people, it's easier to just ignore the truth. Yeah. And create their own reality.
Who said that again? Create their own.
Create their own reality.
It ain't the reality everybody else lives in. It's
right.
Just your own matrix and fantasy of what things should be and how you. Yeah. Jesus, it's a psychosis.
So so now is there something wrong with creating your own reality?
Here's the thing, right? We have to create our own reality based off of truth. That's all it comes down to, y'all. I was taught that we must worship God in spirit and in truth. So I take that. Individually, I have to find a way to understand who God is to me.
Right.
But I also have to do it in truth. I'm not sitting up here telling nobody to do this perfect because I know damn well I ain't.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I ain't sitting up here telling you duty got all the answers because I know damn sure I don't. But the answers I do got, I lean on them because I know the work I did to get them. You know what I'm saying? I know the experiences that put me in a position to understand what I know. So I'm not going to lower myself either. And that's what we end up finding ourselves doing. All these conformities, we chop ourselves down by allowing other people to determine who we should be, how we should look, how we should present ourselves. I put a post up on Facebook the other day. It was this preacher. The post was about a preacher checking everybody at church. And he was talking about it and he cussed. And I just put a post up like, that's why I can't preach. And it's not that duty don't preach, because I promise y'all I'll be preaching. What it is the dogma of people understanding that they want to shut me down because of the language I use. I don't use this. I didn't create this language.
You know what's crazy? I promise you, I just told someone that just because I'm not in the church does not mean I'm not a missionary.
I'm just saying, the key is that when you start chopping at the bit about how somebody should be, like I say, I know that the messenger matters.
Yes.
That's why I tell everybody the sacrifices that we have to make to be leaders is more than just acting like you're somebody. It's being somebody. The key thing is what people got to recognize is just because you don't like the delivery or you don't like the package don't mean it ain't real.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? I could whip up some shit and make it look real good and still be shit.
Right. This is true. And okay, so going back to when you just said the messenger matters.
Yeah.
Break it down.
So here's the thing. If Duty Outlaw is not who Duty Outlaw say he is, people gonna find out. They're looking for that. They're looking for something to pinpoint in you, right? Our cultures, our religions, our dogmas start eliminating people based off of these biases, right? They're not skinny enough. I ain't listening to him about fitness. Are they too fat? No, let me flip that. So we want all our chefs to be fat. We want all of our models to be skinny. Right? Why? We want our chefs to be fat because we want to know that they know how to make good food. You only know how to make good food if you're fat, right?
Right. No.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
No.
We want all our models to be skinny. Now, we at the store buying stuff that fits skinny people when we're not skinny. Think about how they lined this up like that. This is how you need to look, right? This is what you should wear when you look this way. I'm going to sell this in the store knowing that 90% of people don't look like that.
Right.
And then 50% of them people are going to go buy that shit and have it hanging in their closet because they want to wear something like that.
But they can't.
Right? So all I'm saying is we have to recognize that the people that we listen to, we have to trust them enough to listen to them. I was so bothered by the Will and Jada thing, not because of how I feel about them, but because of how they present themselves.
Yeah.
You can't present yourself as somebody that is a counselor to somebody and you're taking advantage of people. Right?
You keep using that word taking advantage.
Listen, right? There are ways that we have to deal with others.
Yeah.
When I say take advantage, this is what I mean. There are people that I love that I would never want to see put in a position to where they take a loss.
This is true. Yes.
Right?
Right.
But there are other people out there that will tell me and tell you that a part of business, somebody got to take a loss and somebody got to take a gain. Now, if I want to be a successful businessman, it means that I have to take advantage of people. I don't believe that. But in this particular context, that is how it works. Period.
You feel like that? Why we can't change the game?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
That's how they do business.
No, but here's what happens, right? Now, if I come in and I try to do things different and I'm successful, I'm a threat.
That's fine. You're already a threat, though.
If I come in and do it their way, I'm not a threat.
But see, that's the thing, though. You're already a threat.
Exactly.
You've been a threat since the day you were born.
So why are we trying to do it their way? Why are we trying to conform to that?
It goes back to it's easier.
Do we know who we are, though? Like you said, we
Right.
have to go back. We have to go back to the origins. When I can apply this to so many stuff. When we're talking about defunding the police, it's a lot of people that feel some type of way about defunding the police. And, I understand all of that. All I'm saying is if you know the origin of the police, then you have a different feeling about it.
See, but knowing it and accepting is two different things. They
Yes.
could know, they can have the information, they can see it in writing and be like, oh no, that's not it. Somebody wrote that, they was wrong.
I'll give you an example. A couple years ago, up in Northern Nevada, a bunch of white folks had a standoff with the feds and the police on federal land, the Bundys.
Okay.
All right. The Bundys are Republican, conservative. And I saw a video of this guy. Shout out to my big cousin Ayanka posting this up, of him saying he wanted to support Black Lives Matter because what happened to him in experience was very similar to what happened to black folks. They came and picked up the Bundys. The Bundys had a standoff about their constitutional rights. The only reason why they didn't have a shootout with the feds because they had as many guns as the feds. Now he sat in jail for 2 years and analyzed how things in the system work. This is a guy that comes from privilege, that comes from money. And he was making a speech and basically saying like, yo, I had to realize from my experience that this is what they want. They want to, I go to jail and they got the white folks over here, they got the black folks over there, they got the Hispanics over there. Why? Because if you keep them separate, then they're fighting within each other. But if they all come together, they'll realize that it's a 24-year-old woman over there that's the only guard in here. We can all get up out of here and walk out.
Right.
So
Separation.
When people start waking up, it's very uncomfortable.
It is.
When people start recognizing that something that should have been obvious to them isn't so obvious, it feels embarrassing. That's conviction. But we have to adjust. That's what people are feeling right now in so many different ways, whether it's individually, collectively, as a community, as a nation, as a world. We all should be looking at ourselves a little bit different right now. We all should be looking at each other a little bit different right now. You should know yourself a little better, or you should recognize you don't know yourself too much.
Right, you got to do some digging.
You should be looking at your spouse different. You should be looking at your kids different, your job different, all these situations. Shout out to all the essential workers out there who are sick right now because they're thinking about all the time and effort that they've had to do to make sure that our communities are running, but they're not getting any benefits. But here's the problem. You can't take your situation and poo-poo somebody else. One poor person hating on another poor person is what they want, right? When you're sitting there, you're saying, okay, essential workers deserve this, and they don't. No, that's not how it works. Yes, they deserve what they got. I deserve what I got. That's what the Black Lives Matter movement is about. It's not saying that I deserve more than what a white person deserves. It means I deserve just as
equal,
much.
Right, equal.
If all lives matter, then just make sure that my life is a part of it all.
Right, right.
That's simple concept.
I saw that post that you put up there.
Right.
Oh, yes.
But for some reason, people don't get that concept. So when they try to break it down and cut it up and put all the politics and shit in it, it irritates me. It irritates me because I'm not saying that all of that. I'm not talking about the super PAC that is Black Lives Matter. I'm not talking about the people that's out there marching saying Black Lives Matter. I'm talking about the statement in general.
Yes, period.
And the fact that that statement has to be made is a reckoning that our nation is not ready to deal with. That's the problem. The problem is that America knows that they have done some horrible things to its own citizens, and they don't want those citizens around anymore because they don't want to deal with it.
Did y'all hear that?
Like I say, it's all about design, y'all. I didn't make America. America made me. So when I know that they would prefer me not to be here, how am I supposed to act? Am I supposed to conform and try to hang? Well, Mr. White Man, I'm going to hang around here as long as you allow me to. You know what I'm saying? I'll take the little job you give me, and you know what I'm saying? I'm going to hold it down, and I'm going to raise me a little family, and I'm going to keep on trying to do the right thing, son. Or I'm going to say, you know what? I'm going to stand on my own and make sure my kids ain't got to bow down to no system, no man, no nothing. And I hate to point out that it's the white man because I didn't make that word. Y'all made that word. You know what I'm saying? But it ain't no English man. It ain't no Spanish man. It ain't no Irish man. It's the white man. That's what they wanted to be called. And then since they're calling me black, and I know I'm not black, but like my daughter say, I'm brown. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to be using those definitions no more. I'm going to define myself as who I want to be and define my family as what I want it to be so my kids can carry that legacy. If we can walk out of this pandemic knowing who we are, maybe we'll walk into a new world where we're actually being who we're supposed to be. I'm done preaching for today.
I heard, look, I done got duty riled up, y'all. Did y'all hear that? All of that. And then period.
Look, y'all.
And then there's that.
We are definitely thankful for everybody that's listening in on all the streaming platforms. Shout out to everybody that's listening on 22.3 TakeOverVegasRadio.com and the 22.3 Takeover Vegas Radio app. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube, please plug in with Duty Outlaw on 22.3. Our Facebook Live. Shout out to everybody on Facebook. We are on Facebook Live, plugged in with Duty Outlaw on 22.3 Takeover Vegas Radio. Rocky Relates on Facebook. Rocky Relates on Instagram. We're on Up Live. We're on Live Up. So,
Live Me.
Live Me, excuse me. See, they're all
Live Up.
But the key is this, you guys. There's days where we sit up and we just have a good time and we bullshit. But there's also days like this where it's so important that we're sharing.
Yes.
And that we're putting this in perspective because, like I say, I'm not saying that I'm perfect or I don't have all the answers, but having the ability to spark conversation and understanding is important. And we can't give out all the understanding. We can just hand out the juice. Yep. You got to go and test it out. You got to test and see if that's cubic zirconia or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry about that laugh, y'all. We were talking about that the other day. Shout out to my OG, Eugene Mason, man. My guy Eugene is the type of guy I've been knowing for over a decade, and we might not have a lot of conversations. You might call me up and just send me a book, and being able to get an understanding in that way, you know what I'm saying, allow me to grow as a person, not based off of somebody just guiding me, but letting it be known that, hey, I can put the tools in your hand. How you gonna use it?
Yeah, what are you gonna do with it?
You know what I'm saying?
What are you gonna do?
Like, you can use a hammer in this situation, but it might be better to, you know what I'm saying, use a pickaxe. So we have to take our tools, we have to use them, we have to take our understandings, we have to expand them, we have to take our questions and seek answers not from people, but for ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. It's all, to me, it's all about internal seeking anyways, because you can sit there and listen to everybody else and their opinion and, let them validate who you are. But what does that even mean? Like, how solid are you? That's my whole thing. How solid are you by listening to the outside world or others' opinions of your family, friends, whoever it is? You have to form your own voice. And then you got to stand on it. You got to move on that.
Move on it. Make a motherfucking
move on it. And keep moving. Don't stop. You got to keep going.
Man, look, what's this? 5 heartbeats. You see the 5 heartbeats right there?
Mm-hmm.
No matter how hard it gets, we ain't finished yet, y'all.
Period.
As sappy as that shit sound, right? No matter how
Why
hard
is it
gets,
sappy? It's
no,
not
because
sappy.
that's the problem right there. Every time we say something real, we think it's corny. I'm gonna keep on being a corny ass nigga, man. No matter how hard it gets, we ain't finished yet, y'all. Like Rocky said, she don't even want to say she feeling overwhelmed. But I seen my friend this morning. I already knew something was up. It ain't always that something's wrong. It ain't always that something is right. It's just that you know the difference.
Yeah.
And that's what we need to be for each other. We need to be able to see each other deeper than just, oh, your hair is nice today. Oh, I like them shoes you're wearing. Oh, I ain't seen you in a couple of days. We have to look into each other and say, you know what? I know your soul.
Right, and see, and that's the type of people you have to keep around you, because it's only a handful of people that, like you said, when I walked up, you could see that something.
You can't tell me no bullshit. I know what's up.
You have to keep those people around you that can look deeper into that, because you can sit there and tell them, no, ain't nothing wrong. Okay.
Yeah.
And there's people that will be like, okay, and walk away. But there's other people, no, tell me, because it's something. Let's talk about it. And those people that help you look inside of you and see.
Or people even more. And shout out to my Esteem, shout out to my mother, shout out to my sister, shout out to all those in the traveling intercessors that will pray for you. Sometimes you can't talk about it.
Yeah.
I've been in situations much recently where I'd rather not talk about it. But Lord knows I'm thankful for the prayers. I'm thankful for the thoughts. You know what I'm saying? The maze, happy feelings. But more importantly, people that intercede on other people to have, those are the real people that you need in your life.
Yes,
you know
in your corner. Because, you might not be ready to make a move, but guess what? They're going to push you to do it.
I'm saying, we're going to go together.
Yeah,
I'm going to drag you with me.
Right,
You know
let's go.
That's why we got to keep moving, because you never know how many people is carrying with them. Lord have mercy.
Yeah.
That is giving me a chill right now. I promise you, I ain't got no problem carrying. I'm going to carry as many people as I can with me. I'm trying to get there because I know I need y'all. But Lord knows, man, some days I'll be feeling like I need to be carried too.
Hey, say it again. Please say it again, because I promise you.
But here's the thing, and this is what I want you to know, Rocky. We are being carried. You know what I'm saying? All black folks know about this. So every black family has that poster and that poem about walking with Jesus on the beach, and you look back on your life and you see only one set of footsteps in your heart at a time. It's like, well, that's when I carried you, son. Look, y'all, we are being carried.
Yes.
Whether it's the ones that say we're being carried by our ancestors and all their sacrifices, whether the ones that don't realize that they have good people in their life as mentors, as people that just make sure that they're good, or even not just recognizing how valuable our family, our children, our spouses are to us. You know what I'm saying? We are so very blessed. And once we have a better understanding, things will do move better. I'm a personal witness to that.
Yes.
I will preach that forever. When we start communicating, when we start getting on one accord with understanding, we might not agree, but I promise you, we will move a little more swiftly.
Yes, Duty. I'm big on that too. Just understanding, period. Understanding makes everything lighter.
Yes.
I mean, maybe not lighter, but understanding just helps the situation all the way around.
Well, when you understand, you know how to carry it, right?
But what if you understand, but you don't understand how to carry it? Then what you do?
No, but here's the thing, right? If I got an ox,
okay,
right, and I'm trying to pull this ox, now realizing that the ox should be pulling the cart and me, I still got an ox, but I'm working a lot harder. You feel me? We have to, like I said earlier, we all got the tools. We all have tools. How we choose to use them is on us. If we don't, I was telling my daughter this last week, we get new toys, we get electronics, we don't even read the instruction.
Sure
We
don't.
don't even know the full capabilities
Pop open the box
of our stuff.
Right.
And just think about it. We have tools that we don't know the full capabilities of. We got gifts and talents that we don't know the full capabilities because we give them away, because we conform to what other people want. We have to open up ourselves to recognize that we are gifted way beyond how they measure.
When you say give it away, what do you mean?
Selling it for money, Monetary ends up.
Putting a price tag on.
Look,
putting a tag
man,
on.
my life is more valuable than any dollar amount you can possibly give me.
Mhm.
Our talents are way more valuable than anything they're willing to pay for. If I paid you $1,000 an hour, it ain't enough, right? I'm just saying,
It's not.
right? I read something this morning that said our heart beats enough and it produces enough energy to drive a truck 20 miles. Over a lifetime, that truck could go from here to the moon and back. So when you say you love somebody to the moon and back, that is a real saying. That's how much power we got in our hearts, right? Actual natural energy. That's something we can't even control. I can't tell my heart to stop beating. and
Once
start
you
beating.
learn how to control it,
Think about all the other things that maybe we got in tools and talents and skills that we might not ever recognize that we can actually use. Right? We talk about the power of words. Think about how powerful we could be if we actually used our words as weapons. Instead of using them against ourselves, we use them for ourselves. You know,
I use my words as weapons all the time.
Oh, I know you do. Cutting, slicing, all that. But that's the thing, right? Understanding that sword can cut deep.
Yes.
But is it cutting on the side of righteousness or is it cutting on
Right,
the side
and that's where that understanding comes in.
of,
I'm telling you, because like I said, I use my words as weapons, a defense mechanism.
yes. Hey, and that's the purpose of it,
But
right?
see, I have to understand. Don't put yourself in situations where you feel as if you have to defend yourself.
Hey.
Then you won't have to use those words for that purpose. See how powerful it is. See how you made that person
feel me?
Carlette. Now flip it and use it a different way.
See, and that's where we have to be. We have to recognize ourselves, recognize what we do, how we do it, why we do it.
Mm-hmm.
But go back all the way to the beginning of the show when you were talking about, how you came to America, how your friends would introduce you. I want to be in a place where my energy introduces me. I want to be in a place where no matter if I'm physically in a room or not, people can feel me coming. And I've felt that. I've been that. And I've also seen that in other people.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to be around people who move me and move others in that way. Why? Because it's a power everybody ain't got.
Yeah, not everyone's blessed to have that.
Right? And so I'm not shying away from that. What I have to do is I have to use it responsibly.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And when I see others that have that power and don't recognize it, I want to point it out in them. But I also understand that pointing out in them might not be a positive thing. Sometimes you got to nurture it. So shout out to my mentors for nurturing me.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to those out there that take the time to nurture others. And shout out to you. Because I know that sharing what you go through is an opportunity for others to see their struggle in your story. And that's why testimony is so important. Because even though you fight with it every day, right? You fight, you deal with it still. There are other people out there that maybe haven't been able to fight. That maybe didn't know that they should fight or that they could fight or how to fight. You know what I'm saying? That maybe have only been defensive, but let's get offensive. Right.
And that's the flip side too. And I appreciate you. Like you said, sometimes you have to nurture things in people. I don't believe I'd be doing this unless you make a move that dragon, come on, let's go. We're going this way.
Oh, that's what
and this is where we're headed.
Well, I'll say this, and I appreciate you saying that, but everybody ain't worth dragging.
Yeah. And I'm learning that the hard way too. That's one of that overwhelming feeling, because I, like you say, you can't put a cape on for everybody, but I do feel like I'm supposed to. There's people that I feel like, hey, no, this is, but like you said, it's going to keep moving regardless. And to be honest with you, whoever's listening, take it how you want to take it. I'm not getting left behind.
Come and ride the train. And ride it. Come and ride the train. Yeah, I'm silly as hell, though. Look, I'm with you, Rocky. Like I say, I'm so thankful. Not that I consider myself the conductor or the caboose, but I'm happy to be on the move.
Yeah.
I was told by one of my wise men this weekend, he said, Duty, you can reflect on all the bad shit that happened, but you're in a better place right now, right? You can reflect on all the situations that led you to this point and look at it as a negative, or you can recognize that where you are right this very moment is so blessed right now that those negative things had to happen to get you here. And so you're happy for them too.
Yeah.
Right? Because if I sit back and try to hash out all the people that I think did me wrong, or try to hash out all the negative situations and all that, it can be hard.
Yes.
But if I can look at my situation and say, you know what? Not just I made it, but this path got a little smoother. The pavement is fresh.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like the people I'm
you
walking
wouldn't know the difference unless you went through it.
Unless you went through that rough
path.
That field, unless you went through that undriven path. you wouldn't have knew you got to that beautiful waterfall.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, shoot, you get that long walk all the way through that forest, then you get to that beach.
Yeah.
Man.
And the forest is beautiful too. You just, that's not what you was looking for.
Nah, exactly.
But you gotta appreciate that on your way to this beach, right?
Run with that. Man, that's a beautiful thing, man. We are here. It's a beautiful Thursday morning here, July 30th. It is one more day left in the month of July, y'all.
Ooh, this year has flown by.
I don't know if it's flown by, but it definitely is different. It's different than any year I can say I've lived.
2020 was it.
And it's not just what's going on around us. It is the personal awakenings. It is the seeing the difference, but it's also seeing the progress, y'all. I hope that you're seeing progress in your life today. And if you're not, guess what? You can join the movement and get on the move and get some progress going, right? If you have not subscribed to Copacetic Designs on social media, check them out on Facebook and on Instagram, but check out Copacetic Designs on Etsy for all your Rocky Relates gear, all your Gravity Click gear, all your Joint Movement gear, and of course, all your Plugged In with Duty Outlaw gear. It is very important for me to thank everybody that supports us. Shout out to Rocky and Big Nito for supporting me and having my back. Shout out to my girl for not just being my partner in crime, man, and being somebody that I trust with everything, but also just being the support that I need. A lot of times, y'all, when we don't have support, it seems easier, right? It seems easier to try to do everything yourself and try to work it out because you get to make all the decisions and you get to move how you want to move. But it's selfish to realize that you can't do it. Well, it's selfish to think that you got to do it or you can't do it by yourself. To open yourself up to need help, but also to open yourself up to accept help. It's so important. So thank all of you guys for helping me, but also very special thanks to the one that got to put up with all my bullshit. It is very important to me that all of you guys know that I know that we got a long way to go, but I'm so thankful for where we've been so far.
Yeah.
Man, who would have thunk it? We are blessed to be here with Rocky on 22.3 Takeover Vegas Radio, the station that has more fun. Before we get out of here, Rocky, please tell the people how to reach you, how to reach Crystal Clear Marketing, and also tell the people whatever you want to say just to finish everything.
Okay, well, you guys can follow me on Facebook. I have a Rocky Relates page. Just go ahead and search that. On Instagram, it's Rocky_Relates. Hit me up, slide in my DM. You want to talk about something? You know, me, Duty, Nito, we be chopping it up. So, slide in there. Let me know what's going on. And Crystal Clear Marketing. You guys can go ahead and find us on the website, ccmmarketingwith2gs.com. Business cards, flyers, events, any of that thing, go ahead and hit us up, slide in there, check out the website, see what's going on. I want to give a big shout out to everyone that tunes in on the daily with us. That's important. And even if you're just tuning in, you just hop on whatever day, we appreciate that support as well. I want to say I appreciate Copacetic Designs, for supporting this movement and pushing through. It's wonderful. I love to see a woman empower, and it's a beautiful thing. And I love how she just supports me. That's it. Like, support is everything. And Duty, I'm shouting you out too for supporting me and putting me here.
I got your back on me. Like it's nothing greater than being great, right? But it's also nothing greater than being great with people that you believe in.
Yeah, and you trust in the environment.
Man,
it's a big thing.
For real. To
feel comfortable in your own skin. It's not, like you said, that mask, we don't have to wear it all the time. And here, definitely, no mask.
Nah, mask off.
Sometimes no filters. We do put filters on sometimes, but not all the time. Yeah, not much,
Some gritty, grimy getting through there a lot of days, especially with my mouth, boy. I ain't gonna talk about Nito. So shout out to Big Nito, man. We will be active tomorrow, finally Friday, man, in the groove, on the move. Shout out to everybody that's listening on 22.3 Takeover Vegas Radio, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Up Live, Live Me, Norbex, TuneIn, MyTuner, MixLR, Streamfinder, Apple Music, all the damn places that you can listen to our show. We will be back tomorrow. Our week will be over, and then we will be active Monday, of course, every morning, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm your boy, Duty Outlaw, and we're here with your girl, Rocky. Catch us tomorrow. Rocky, you have a great rest of your week, okay?
Yeah, of course. I can't wait till Wednesday, though. I just want to let y'all know that now. I will see you guys on Wednesday. And thanks for all the support. You guys have a wonderful day. Talking to the damn phone.
Run into the restroom.
Hurts me the most when I wake.
Cause it's so cute. When y'all photo shoot coming out?
Say that again.
There's so much space in this bed.
Oh, you know what? I don't even. First of all, don't respond like that because I'm pretty
Love
sure
you guys, man. See you. Check y'all tomorrow.